Hello and welcome. So in this video, I'm going to be explaining about the energetic themes of 2026 and what you can do as an entrepreneur to prepare yourself and to position your business for growth. I do these every year. I tap into my intuition. I work with the elements to identify the energetic themes and the rhythm of the year and how this is going to show up within the context of the current collective energetics and what that's going to mean for how business operates, what works, what's going to work, what's not going to work, and some of the big themes that we're going to navigate collectively as entrepreneurs. So let's get into it. Each year, sometimes there's not that much to say. Sometimes there's a lot to say. This year is definitely in the category of there being a lot to say. So let's look back over 2025 to start with. And I'd really invite you to ask yourself, where have you grown the most in the last year? 2025 has been dominated by instability, and you might feel like that's thwarted your growth. But all instability is the transition between states, and you've developed some new muscles along the way to help you keep your balance. And I think those are the chinks of light that are the clues to your growth and where life is going to take you next. So the dominant theme of 2025 has been the rise of the self. And as we complete the final year of a 9-year cycle, there is always a scrappy feel that comes before the calm. I kind of liken it to when you're moving house and you've got those last few boxes and you've got a whole load of things that don't defy categorization, and you do end up just shoving them all into that box, random pieces that they just don't fit naturally anywhere else. And the temptation is to feel that like they're junk. And the risk is that they'll never get unpacked. But within that ragtag assortment are the clues to your future direction. So 2026 is going to ask you to look at these more closely and decide where they fit in your life. So if 2025 was the rise of the self, 2026 is the restoration of individual power. This is the biggest theme of the year. As we navigate the collective choppy waters, um, encountering situations and actions and opinions that we don't want to experience, we can kind of feel powerless in this, it's like rising swell. But collective hope and the waves that it bears us upon are not made by the top of the wave, but by the swell beneath. As water moves across the land asks it to rise. And the biggest waves come from the deepest asks. So individual realization of passion, of purpose, self-acceptance are the land which brings hope to the surface. The light of hope is within individuals in the world, and the communities of the future are going to form around that arising truth that is coming from within individuals. None of that is accidental. It's not happenstance. The rise of individual power is a conscious awareness and choice. And there's work to do underpinning that. 2025 has definitely laid the foundations, but 2026, you're going to need some clarity. And that's the clarity that you have or don't have is going to define your experience of the energetic pulse. You're going to need to know who you are, what you believe in, where you want to go, what you want to create, what brings you happiness at any level. If you have clarity around that, it's going to guide you through the energetics of 2026. The year will ask for more than that, though. It's going to ask you to believe in yourself and your path. It's going to ask you to act accordingly. Boldness is an undercurrent that is going to emerge repeatedly. And 2026 is not a blip. It's a change, of course. The changes that we make this year are for the long term. Clarity is going to ensure that you're able to move forward without hesitation. And remember that clarity is a soul move. It emerges from the freedom that you give yourself to be yourself and is shaped through your self-acceptance and self-belief. So let's put some background on all of this. 2025 has been a 9-year in the numerology cycle, which is a wrapping up of energies, of actions and consequences. A 1 year, which is 2026, is a new beginning, asking you to embrace the vision that you can feel, but may be unseen by others. And that may feel particularly challenging to hold on to because life may well knock the wind out of you. But it is this a strength of vision and conviction to follow that pole that defines the shape of a 9-year cycle. So internal mastery is going to be called for at a whole new level. Astrologically, I'm not an astrologer, but I do research it. Astrologically, there are some really big changes in 2026. We're still grappling with Pluto in Aquarius. Many of our outer planets are going to be moving into fire and air signs, which is going to change how we see and respond to our place in the world. Now, fire and air can be impetuous, hence the need for internal mastery and deep roots in your values and sense of self. Now, one of those alignments is going to be Saturn and Neptune moving into Aries. Now, the last time that they were in a fire sign, the Berlin Wall fell. So, but in Aries, it's not going to be a time for destruction, but creation, with leaders emerging into action. So collective consciousness is going to experience some dramatic shifts in 2026 and beyond. And that's not going to emerge from the established leadership, but from the leaders of self, vision, and hope. So the last few years have seen increasing polarization and division in our collective airwaves. The ability to acknowledge and accept differences has been eroded, being actively eroded right now. The resulting lack of self-compassion and rigidity has challenged the ability to grow. And we all going to have to find our softer sides, our self-compassion, to navigate a world of balance. The shift in consciousness that we're going to move through is going to destabilize political structures, and we can expect to see some pretty impetuous reactions. But we can also expect to see the collective holding leaders to account and demanding change from the ground up. And that's a process, not going to be a smooth one, I'm sure, but the reins of power are changing hands inch by inch. It is more important than ever to come back to your core, to be certain of who you are and what you want to create in the world. So as we enter the energies of 2026, we can choose to take the opportunities that are open to us, or we can choose not to. It is always a choice. So let's get into these themes in a bit more detail. The biggest theme is the restoration of power. It's centered in ether. So ether is the cohesion of parts to form the whole. Elementally, the combination of air, earth, fire, and water in unique blends creates these individual energies of expression. That's ether. It's the whole. And this is the overriding theme, coming back to wholeness and self. Now, that's going to depend on the willingness and ability to take truths, values, and beliefs that matter to you from all directions and blend them. Because to be whole, we cannot be partisan. We can't be polarized because wholeness balances. So the fear of the dark, the shadow, or a simple lack of light, it's ingrained in our collective psyche. Yet it's where the more expansive part of the self emerges from. So the deeply mystical, intuitive aspects of soul do not come from out there, they come from within. The light originates and emanates from the darkness, from our inner and underworlds. So the restoration of individual power, which has been wrested from so many for so long, isn't founded in rebellion, but on the simple acknowledgement that no one can take it from you. Collective consciousness shifts by degrees. Each person who comes back to themselves dissolves this polarity, this division, little by little, and the tide turns. Which is why in 2026, purpose and passion are going to take center stage. And then boldness and conviction will surge as the determination to make long-term changes, of course, rises. So this is going to be the beginning of new experiences of life that will flow far beyond 2026. So it sounds really tumultuous, but the rhythm of the year is surprisingly gentle given the profundity of transformation that is in the air. The second theme is balance. Now, the main energetic points flow through air and fire energies throughout the year before holding in water for a while. Now, although the key experiences of the year are in these outer expression energies of air and fire, that's balanced always by a pull towards the energies of earth and water. Now, the energetic points flow in a slow-paced, clockwise direction, yet there is a repeated pull of fast-paced, anti-clockwise energy. And there's going to be a number of cycles of the energy moving anti-clockwise into the center before pivoting into this clockwise energy. Now, that is reflective of the cycles of growing self-confidence and conviction that are going to build through the year. As the energy flows anti-clockwise to the center, it's going to unlock more light to be expressed through the clockwise flow. So by going into the depths, the amount of light is amplified. And that cycle may repeat 3 or 4 times through the year. Now, in a 24-hour a day, non-stop productivity, that cycle may feel uncomfortable and challenging. But energetically, it's a process of resourcing. As the energy flows inwards, it connects to more light, then this flows back up into expression, and each cycle builds on the last. Which brings us on to the next theme, which is around that light. The light that shines is not absorbed but emerges from within. Radiance, by definition, moves out from a center point. And that center point is your soul energy. And it is brighter when it is connected to passion and purpose, because that allows it to flow into expression. The phoenix is reborn from the fire within, not the fire without. So the cycles of 2026 will feel like rebirth if the energy that guides comes from within. Otherwise, it's going to feel like destruction. But regardless of what it feels like, transformation is going to follow. Now, I started this overview of the themes by referencing the importance of ether. Ether is the quiet center point that dominates. We all need stillness and quiet for discernment, which is a massive aspect of the themes this year. The need for discernment is going to rise to help you to navigate this polarized external world. So within the cacophony of noise are the notes that are in harmony with your center, the ones that will help you move forward with clarity and focus. So what you want to be doing is listening for something different within the noises that is unfamiliar to the norms, but distinct to you. Imagine for a moment sitting outside, listening to the wind in the trees, the birds, maybe the river, so many more things. That's a mosaic of sound, and something will stand out to you. Something will draw your attention. And your ability to listen to that without dismissing everything else is the equivalent of the practice of discernment. That which stands out to you is the clue to what you need to express. So where are we going to find this stillness? Well, we're going to find it in the natural world. And nature connection is going to be more important than ever. We don't have to have access to the natural world as such in order to be able to benefit. We can quietly witness the elements flow between states, which can be done anywhere. But we can also spend time sitting in nature to hear the notes that do not exist yet within the world, but are meant to come into expression through you. Nature connection will actually restore the sense of belonging to life that is so essential to navigating the energies of this year. The earth is the starting point of energies of expression. So to understand yourself, you're going to benefit from understanding yourself within nature. And I appreciate that that might feel like finding a needle in a haystack, but it's not a blind quest because it's there for you to find. So there's some big themes for us as individuals, obviously collectively as well, but I think it's the individual experience of it that is going to be the most transformative, because the individual changes is going to have quite a big impact on the collective experience. So that's the backdrop. What does that mean in terms of business? Because those energetic influences are going to play out in business in a number of ways that are going to affect you as an individual, how you work, and what your clients are looking for. Business is always impacted by collective consciousness, and it's important for you to be proactive to the changes to avoid constantly being on the back foot, which is a very, very uncomfortable place to be in business. More importantly, moving with the energy offers you an edge in terms of growth. So let's look at those themes for business. There's going to be some real shifts in energy expectations. For so many years now, spiritual coaches have traded on creating spaces where you, as a client, get to be in their energy and benefit from this by absorbing their success. That's built on a dependency model. It's a hamster wheel of constant reinvestment to maintain their businesses and to maintain your momentum. This shift to internal awareness and the restoration of individual power is going to upend that dynamic finally. Clients will be looking to tap into their own energy, create their own solutions from there. They will not want playbooks and scripts. They will want their magic to be unlocked, and your energy is the catalyst for their change. So positioning your work as a way to access their own unique solution gives them the freedom to grow on their own terms. So in that respect, it becomes more about how the transformation is activated rather than what the transformation is. Your process is the framework that they're looking for, not the result that you think they want. The pathway to transformation is your golden thread that other people will seek out. So do not dismiss that and don't diminish it within your presence. That represents a shift from expert client to partnerships of discovery. And for that, connection is critical because it allows expertise to be tailored to circumstance and energy. And that shift is going to reshape the landscape of content. And you can be at the forefront of that by moving with the energy and being a shaper of the landscape. The other way that the guru model will shift is how much the collective values external expertise only over their own lived experience. For a very long time, personal experience and wisdom has been diminished as unproven and not valuable, but that's slipping. What we have experienced and our interpretations of that have prepared us for living through the lens of our own experience, learning the lessons, adjusting course as needed. Self-responsibility for growth and internal mastery are on the rise, and you can't out-guru that. Your expertise does not trump experience, but it can help shape the next steps. So partnership and transformation is a different kind of model that will leave many experts scrambling, while those who naturally seek out collaborative relationships are actually going to thrive. In terms of your role as a leader, your self-leadership is going to become a model. In times of chaos and uncertainty, you can choose to look for others who have the calm you aspire to, or you can find it for yourself. As an entrepreneur, self-leadership is a pivotal choice. Calm centeredness without egotism is attractive and magnetic in a confused world. So choosing to lead yourself creates a reality that others aspire to and offers hope that their vision is also real. Now, self-leadership begins with listening, not out there, but to your inner voice. This year, you'll have to hone your listening skills to discern what you want from what you feel you have to do. Many entrepreneurs have silenced their inner voice because it's whispered that the path was not the right one, while the noise roared that what they must do to achieve success. Listening is an act of courage that leads to the reshaping of your business to reflect who you really are and are choosing to become. You listen, then you can take what you know and apply it to what you do. And in that context, uphold your values. The minute you erode your values, you erode your foundation. Build on 2025 by weaving your values into your actions on every level. Make them a framework of operation, not just an ideal. Choose what you want to create and how you want to create it. Don't deviate from your course, but do adapt to circumstances. That is primary leadership quality. Now, all frequencies behave in unique ways, and they flow into unique expressions through form. Business is grounded in that natural patterning. So your inner listening creates the space to listen to the frequencies in your business and discern the tone of action. So this year, make use of some time in nature to relearn the patterning of your soul and find your focus. Nature restores creative expression whenever you spend intentional time exploring the patterns. Each tree, each rock, each bird, each insect, they follow their patterns and they create within their communities. So this observation leads to recognition of our own patterns so that we can follow our soul. There are simple lessons and examples that we can take and apply to our lives and our work for more vitality. That clarity of action will help your clients to understand how you can help them beyond the specifics of the work that you do together. It will show them the state of being they will find and ultimately what they're seeking. So quiet presence and modeling of your own intentional focus is a long-term strategy for success. There have been times in years past when actually we all needed to coast our way through the year, step back and experience the energy and not do a great deal with it. But 2026 is not one of those years. The experience of the energy needs to lead to action. Not impulsive action, but considered action. Now, I've come back to these cycles of inward and outward energy. They're like a breath. The inhalation is the moment before action, and the exhalation is the flow into response. Focus your intention, flow it into action. One of the most powerful acts for you in your business is to speak your vision and speak it into reality. So take some time to clarify your vision by listening to your inner voice, and then be bold about what you believe you can achieve. Remember that what you start in 2026, you will see through. This is the beginning. It can be tempting to hold back when you don't have all the pieces or the answers, but you're going to discover these through the action that you take. So be bold, be decisive, ensuring that the impetus is coming from your true patterning, and take all that 2025 has brought to your attention and run with it. Act on your cues, be bold in your assumptions about what you can achieve, and that is what your clients will see and feel to guide them out of their chaos. Now, the collective generally, which is going to include your clients, is going to be seeking clarity throughout the year. This external turmoil is going to show up in their lives in different ways that leaves them feeling imbalanced. Now, the core transition will be finding balance between inner and outer cohesion, and that's going to be coming into sharper focus throughout the year. Concepts of well-being are likely to broaden as the internal voice gets stronger within individuals. That's going to lead to refuse to engaging in the chaos. That is actually incredibly unsettling and unsettled as transitions go. But clarifying the flow from inner reality to outer experience is going to dominate the year. Now, if you've got your ducks in a row and you understand how this energy is going to impact your audience's inner and outer experiences, you're going to be positioned perfectly to guide them forward. And then for you, if you can bring cohesion to your focus, it's going to really help you. I think as a visual, imagine a pile of threads, random pile of threads, but you just managed to find that one and you pull it and it turns that entire pile of threads into something that's coherent and whole. There is a golden thread that is going to help you to draw out all that you want to do into a whole that you can run with. That's why inner listening is so helpful for you, because it's going to help you find that one thing that kind of makes sense of everything else. Keeping on the threads thing, there's a long-standing phrase that is, you can't make a silk purse out of a sow's ear. Yet this is where business has come from, with so many snake oil salesmen promising to wave their magic wand and remove a problem. To mix a million metaphors here, fairy godmother style. Transformation is a process, not an act. 2026 is going to be a year of transformation because it's been brewing for a long time. Either there has been a building discontent with what's out there, or a restlessness to take some self-responsibility. But either way, more and more are going to stop engaging and start looking for something different within. That's going to shift the power base dramatically. Someone with no allegiances to groups or divisions that, create these hollow communities that have become so prevalent in our societies, that somebody who doesn't have an allegiance to that, they're dangerous to those in power because they're not controlled. And if those people are able to choose what to listen to and respond to from across the spectrum, then the power base shifts to the individual. Now, that's going to change business dynamics because the underlying trigger points of response are going to change. Instead of relying on psychology, businesses are going to start to have real conversations and be prepared to be challenged. The clearer you are on the notes you can hold within that noise, the easier you're going to find it to navigate this dynamic. How we conduct ourselves through our businesses is going to be in the spotlight, and what happens behind the scenes will be just as important as all the shiny marketing stories. Now, as we move through the year with these cycles of inward and outward energy, our ability to hold rhythm in balance is going to be challenged. The biggest issue for us is the pause. It's phenomenally challenging to entrepreneurs because we're conditioned to be externally productive all the time. We need to remember that internal time is productive too. It's a resourcing of energy and creativity and connection and conviction that flows into our external expression and action. So we can try and work on relishing the pause as a time to recenter and resource yourself. The energy is going to pivot soon enough, so catch your breath, fill your cup. Get out into nature to connect to your own rhythm, letting the seasons, the weather, the spaces guide you into your rhythm. Each time you step outside intentionally, you can learn more about how your energy waxes and wanes, what you process and when, and how you flip into external energy and the flows of expression. Balance isn't a constant, it's a dynamic. As your energy flows up and down, in and out, you're adjusting your center of balance and prioritizing what you need in the moment. Think about a bow, an instrument bow. It only plays one note in each direction. Harmony evolves from the constant changing directions of travel. So really take some time to open up your awareness of your natural rhythms and find your flow. Receiving energy and taking action, it's a nourishing process. Building a business also requires you as its leader to have the capacity to hold a gathering of energy from your clients and your audiences around your core energy, around your business. This year is going to test your capacity as you flow into growth. So be aware of your edges. Learn how you can stretch them to keep flowing into growth. And expect to see this theme of capacity coming up for your clients and be prepared to support them through their own expansion in relation to the work that you do with them. Now, your clients and community will be experiencing all of this energy, and it's going to change how they feel about their needs. You will really support your business by taking some time to understand their experience and the priorities that are emerging for them. That may shift the emphasis of your message for them. Because as they emerge from the chaos, rediscovering their agency, they're going to learn to tune out of the noise and tune into what they really want or need. The outer world is going to be chaotic, and the need for inner calm is going to grow. So clients are going to need spaciousness in their choices and their experiences. Remember that that's new territory for them, and it takes some adjusting. Learning to trust yourself when everyone and everything is telling you no is a big ask. So it's about holding the frequency that you extend to them unwaveringly so that they can find their equilibrium with it. If you push for a response, it's not going to serve you, it's not going to serve them. Create space and let energy do the work. 2026 is going to hold a lot of contrasts. Gentleness is going to balance resolve. Trust is going to counter flexibility. Your clients are going to need you to hold the balance while they find their own. So 2026 begins in air energy, and we will move through the influences of air into fire before transitioning into water. And throughout, there's going to be this balancing of air with water and fire with earth as the phases of energy shift between inward and outward cycles. The general flow of growth in 2026 begins with like a deep breath in, like you'd been holding your breath. And as you breathe in again, you realize that your power is returning. And that flows into a plan that's rooted in purpose, contribution, a vision for the year and beyond. As the energies shift into fire, action becomes non-negotiable, even if you don't feel ready. You will move forward. And then as the energies begin to be influenced by water, the realization will come that the path you've chosen is possible and you can make it work. As water then takes full hold, a commitment to long-term change is going to root, and it might be direction, attitude, behavior, whatever. Whatever roots for you is going to be set to grow for some time to come. So to make the most of that energetic rhythm, I've broken down your business development focus into the elemental energies. My one-to-one mentoring tackles the full spectrum of elemental business development, and I put a link below the video for that if you want to find out more. But let's look at the air energies first. Air energies are associated with the energetic structures of your business, the thoughts, the beliefs, the actions that emanate from the energy. And these are quite often confronting because they ask you to expand your safety zone and consider what might be possible for you beyond those edges. This is the element where leadership is honed. Now, leadership is centered in purpose that you choose to act upon. Hone your inner listening skills and tap into the beliefs or patterns that might hold you back. Make a commitment to working on your limits and finding more expansiveness in your approach. And that's going to involve building your mental, emotional, and energetic capacity with gentle practices that expand your edges. So dedicate development time to defining your audience, where they are, what do they need in this changing landscape, and adapting your message accordingly. Fire energies are associated with the energy body of your business, the outward expression of purpose through action, words, and presence. This is a time when you're in fire energy, when you feel both confident and nervous because you're finding your feet. This year, the fire energies will zone in on your conviction and how you support yourself to follow through. Bold moves need to be initiated from this upwelling of energy that carries you beyond your safety limits. So make yourself a plan for getting yourself out there that works for you. Remember, your energy will be flowing in and out throughout the year. Test some new ideas and communities to share your message and invite clients into your world. Be creative and experimental to discover what works for you. Water energies are associated with the entity of your business, the gathering of internal and external energies that build its impact in the world. So this is where connection is built to both your inner drive and your ability to evolve your business, as well as your external connections to your business circles. This year, water will help you find balance between the internal and external drivers that you can meet with gentle resolve. The energy is going to help you to gather yourself, your resolve, your energy, your power, and breath to move forward. With a very strong emphasis on intuitive awareness, you're going to be able to find your ability and capacity to move in a new way to achieve the impact that you seek. Water energy is a time of receiving and processing, so make time to step away from your business or into your connections, perhaps, to find what you need to focus on next. Stepping away from your business is an act of business development. It's not something that's often talked about, but it is a very important one. So make that time. And then earth energies, they're associated with the soul or essence of your business. So this is where the purpose, the values, and the culture of your business are established. In 2026, earth energy will create balance to the outer expression by bringing clarity. So earth energy flows from within to expression. It resources the outer manifestation of energy. It offers clarity and intention. So resource yourself and your business by exploring your inner values and how they translate into outer actions. Review your business to understand how and where those values are upheld through your systems and public-facing presence. That's going to help you to build your brand on solid foundations and define the culture that sustains your growth. So summarize all of this if we can. Growing your business physically and energetically is always challenging on many levels. And whilst this year is going to challenge you, it will do so by asking you to find grace and flow in the process. Your clients, your community, they're going to be on their own roller coaster, and the more stable you can be, the easier they will find it to move to you. I don't think it's going to be an easy year, but are any. There's going to be a lot of adjustment, but it's going to be really rewarding. So a change in direction will happen through the year, and it's probably going to feel pretty chaotic. Remember to use those periods of inward energy and flow to your advantage. Each cycle is going to look different, it's going to feel different, but it's going to stack upon the last. There is scope for so much growth this year, and it comes from within, and it follows different patterns to what's come before. So make the space to find your patterns and follow them. There's going to come a point or two in the year when you need support and guidance to help you take your next decisive and bold steps. And I would invite you to connect to that point to explore how we can work together to get you on your way to success. That's 2026 in a nutshell. I'd love to hear what you think about that and how that fits with your intuitive understanding of the energies and what's going on in the world. And obviously, if you've got any questions you want to ask about how do I translate that into my business, then throw them into the comments and we will have a bit of a back to and fro and see if we can work that out. I hope you have a wonderful 2026, no matter what. And I hope to see you again very soon. Take care.